Hello, Ames Chamber of Commerce members. This is Drew Camp, Vice President here at the Ames Chamber of Commerce for your last update in February 28th, legislative update. Crazy to think that we're already almost in March. Today, I want to go through in a way that I've usually done all session and just break it down by our four key topical areas of talent, business climate, economic development, and infrastructure, and go through some of our key priority issues. There wasn't nearly as much activity this week as last week, since last week was funnel week, but I do want to highlight just a few of our key priorities. We'll start with Invest in Iowa, which falls under talent, and then touch on Future Ready Iowa, which also falls under talent. Then we'll move into Port Authorities, which is economic development, Professional Licensure and Universal Licensing Bill, which is business climate, Rural Development, which is also obviously economic development, and then we'll end with two pieces on infrastructure with Construction Manager at Risk and Empower Rural Iowa. So to kind of start with the two pieces for talent with Invest in Iowa and Future Ready Iowa. Invest in Iowa, as you can imagine, that's a really heavy lift with a 1 cent sales tax increase with all the different pieces that are embedded within it. So it's taken a little bit of time, and it's also funnel proof as both that Ways and Means and a leadership bill. So right now, it's awaiting action by both the Ways and Means committees in the House and the Senate. We anticipate that to continue to kind of be worked on behind the scenes. The governor's office is really advocating strongly for it because they don't really necessarily have the full support that is needed to potentially pass it at this moment. So they need to continue to advocate for it behind the scenes to make sure they can hopefully move that forward here this legislative session. With regards to Future Ready Iowa, that's one of our top priorities in regards to talent. It had a House subcommittee on Monday, and it will have a Senate subcommittee scheduled for next Tuesday. That continues to move along. It's always received broad bipartisan support. We anticipate that to be the case going forward this session as well. With regards to port authorities, it awaits action by the House Ways and Means Committee. That's something we continue to see progress on, and we expect to continue to see progress on as well as we move into the session. With regards to business climate, the professional licensure bill, that's something that has passed the House State Government Subcommittee on Tuesday, and it awaits action by a full state government committee here in the next few weeks before it can be placed on the House calendar for debate by the full House of Representatives. Another topic with economic development is the Rural Development Bill. And this kind of came out of the bill last year that kind of was paired with the angel investor tax credits to make sure that we're targeting economic and community development to rural communities as well. That awaits action in the House Appropriations Committee. And then the final two bills I want to touch on, which are in regards to infrastructure, are Construction Manager at Risk and Empower Rural Iowa. For Empower Rural Iowa, there'll be a subcommittee next week to look at some of the infrastructure requirements, some of the language, some of the grant funding for broadband grants within Empower Rural Iowa. We'll continue to be supportive of that, and we expect there to also be broad bipartisan support with that, just as there has been for Future Ready Iowa throughout the last few sessions. Finally, the Construction Manager at Risk bill, it's on the calendars and awaits action by both the Senate and the House. I know that bill also, there's having to be some advocacy going on right now because there's a lot of mixed feelings on it. We are on the we as a chamber are kind of hesitant about the bill because a construction manager at risk makes design build, it restricts design build, and that's something that's an important quality and characteristic and use for the university. So that's something we're really monitoring and watching to make sure that practical use for the universities would not be taken away. So with that really kind of sums up the overall pieces of policy I wanted to make sure I touched on. I do want to remind you that today there is a legislative luncheon coming up here at 11:30 down at First National Bank. And then next week on Thursday at Renewable Energy Group, we'll have the State of the Community, which is always a very popular event to kind of hear from all the big public stakeholders within our community about what great things they are doing within their respective entities. So please do try to attend those if you can. If not, we'll always make sure to keep you updated on anything you may need. You can always just reach out to us. I'm always very accessible via email and cell. Just let me know if you have any questions. With that, thank you very much for watching our last update of February. We'll see you next week in March.